Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. The Neil Haley Show is heard all over the world on television and radio, and we interview celebrities, authors, educators, businesses, and brands, either in Bethel Park's TV studios or on location all over the world, on the radio and on the phone. So check it out and enjoy the show today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at TuttleTutor and NeilHaley.com. And as you've seen in this television extravaganza, want to be on TV just like radio. I guess I definitely have a face for radio, but I enjoy doing TV. And we continue to have such amazing guests I have booked today. And we continue, but I first want to welcome to the program my co-host Peter Elvich, who started this new summer season of TV. Peter, how are you, my co-host? And this guest, another one, we've been going through a theme throughout today involving autism, blindness and visual impairment, talking about how important it is and the amazing things that they can do, Peter, right? And some amazing stories, right?
Most definitely. If there's a will, there's a way, believe me.
Absolutely. So I got this press release and I was just so interested in this, and I was like, wow. And it involves something happening right now that's going to be Discovery Channel's Innovations TV series is profiling advances in ASL research and the benefits of children signing from birth. There is a debate for sure on this, but I'm excited to welcome the program, and he can talk more about this from Dawn Sign Press CEO Joe Danis. Joe, thanks for calling. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Good morning here from San Diego, California.
Yes, Joe. Good morning. It's sunny in Pittsburgh as well as San Diego, and I'm stuck in the studio, but it's fantastic. Every day is nice in San Diego, isn't it, Joe? What a place to live, isn't it?
Most of the year, yeah, it is nice, but May is sort of gray and June gloom.
Okay.
So summer starts in July, really.
Awesome. Now, let's kind of go into specifically a little bit about what's happening now with Discovery Channel and this opportunity for you. This had to blow you away that they were covering what the great things you're doing at Dawn Sign Press.
Yes. We're discovering many things about American Sign Language and the benefits for everyone.
Absolutely. So when you got, did you get approached by Discovery Channel to feature you guys in this episode?
Yes. I was approached at Gallaudet University to talk about the benefits of learning American Sign Language, not for students in college learning, but for babies. And it's not just for deaf babies, but also for hearing babies. And really for everyone, they can benefit to learn. It's almost universal.
Absolutely. And how did you... Go, Peter. Go with your question.
Oh, okay. I have an interesting question. Do you guys teach non-visual learners how to sign language?
Blind and deaf are two different worlds. People often get that confused. Blind people use Braille, and deaf people use signing. It's the difference between comparing an apple and an orange.
And I think, Joe, no, Peter is visually impaired. So that's Joe. That was the question he's talking about. He's blindly and visually impaired. He's not completely blind. But Peter, what were you trying to explain about teaching someone who's partially blind? Are you talking about for your question for Joe?
Well, what I mean is, I have been genuinely curious about sign language and about seeing if I could learn it in some capacity. But I do not have visual acuity. Has there ever been kind of a strategy created for those who cannot visually understand sign language but could still learn it?
Yes, I believe the National Helen Keller Deaf-Blind Center in Long Island, they do have a device that will translate voice into Braille.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Got it.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. So Joe, tell me how you started Dawn Sign Press, the whole story. I know you graduated from Gallaudet University. We were talking about that on our off air last night. Tell us a little bit about that story of how you started Dawn Sign Press.
My family is deaf, and all of my relatives are hearing. Many of them own a business, and growing up in the 1940s and 1950s, there was a negative stigma that deaf can't do that. And my dad was always encouraging me to set up a business. And as the decade went by, the 60s, the 70s, attitude changed. And deaf people realized, yes, we can do it. And I wanted to set up a business, but what kind of business? Mm-hmm. So I started with a business. I had a $1,000 graduation gift from my dad, and I started a very small business. The motto is think big, start small. So I started as a t-shirt business, and then I picked up other products to distribute. And as I distributed other products, I saw that things sold well and some things didn't, and found out what people wanted. And when I moved to San Diego, I collaborated with the Salk Institute, the Sign Language Division, and Ursula Belushi. She shared some research work in sign language, and that we rewrote in layman's terms. And we started publishing, and that was the first publishing, and it was sign language coloring books. And then we did deaf culture books, and then there were 3 authors that got a grant from the government to develop an ASL curriculum, and this won the bid for publishing it. And the ASL curriculum is called Signing Naturally, and it's widely adopted. There's over 4,000 programs in colleges in America and Canada that are using it. And since then, we're always adding several titles every year. We contract deaf people,
wow,
deaf linguists, educators.
Fantastic.
My competitors are mainly hearing, and they're trying to write and mimic what we do with sign language, but they're not able to.
Wow.
Because I'm from a deaf background, feel the community pulse. I know who it is. I know who to recruit, and writers who have high quality. And I try to strive for the highest quality information. Good enough is not good enough. And also need to field test the materials that we do. You have a wonderful idea. We need to field test it with the customers, with students, with classes, so that we can improve, test it again, and keep improving it. And the students will tell you what they like or what they don't like. You can't decide that yourself. So we're always trying to get feedback. And we have a team, and we have several people who go through all the different ideas. And we're an invincible force. I don't work alone. I work as a team.
That's
and
fantastic.
I think that's really the secret that I'm giving away to you right now of my success.
Well, it's such tremendous success, Joe. And I think because you know you want to do the best for everyone. You want this so that they can learn sign language and be able to communicate like you felt when you learned first to communicate. And by you creating these programs and these things that could be throughout the country. You know better than these other companies' curriculums, which you explained before. How much work yourself goes into you researching these ideas and strategies and how to teach people American Sign Language?
Every author or writer, they need a good editor. I make it happen. I find the team players that I need to have for that particular product. There isn't just one editor that edits, different publications. It's like signing in math. I find a math expert. If it's about cultural, I find a cultural expert to edit those particular books. So I find different people to work with in their area of expertise, and I hire them to edit the work with the authors so that they can develop the materials. Like I also have artists and layouts because we don't use the same people for everything. There are different fields, and you need to find those people that are experts in their field.
Yeah. And that's the part that you said, great editors and a great team, Peter. And it seems like Joe definitely has a great team. Joe, what should we expect from the episode that I know has it already aired on Discovery Channel? I know it was already on Fox, correct, in May. What should we expect from the episode that featured you guys?
I would challenge it to increase the awareness of using sign language in the public mainstream. We're trying to raise their awareness. We've been promoting to the deaf sign language community,
right?
But now we're trying to break through the public mainstream to raise their awareness. For everyone to know sign language, they have it in themselves, whether it's Lyme or gesturing, body language, or facial expressions. Everyone knows something. Maybe they don't realize it. When I was in Europe, I was able to communicate with different Europeans because of just, different people have different languages, and sometimes they need to gesture. Sign language is everywhere.
That's fantastic. And that's a tremendous part to bring that awareness, and that's why you wanted to be featured on that. Joe, the episode aired on Fox. Did the episode already air on Discovery that featured you guys?
Yes. It'll be shown 2 more times, though.
Do you know when those will be? So our viewers and listeners can check that out and see when it will be shown again? Is there a time period, or is it best to just check you out to find out more information?
They haven't announced it yet. It's supposed to be in July, but if you go to the Innovation website, I think that they'll announce the dates on there.
Joe, if you don't mind, I'd like to keep you on for a couple more minutes talking more education, and especially at birth with sign language. And I want to talk to you about the debate that was going on when I was an education advocate. It might be just 1 or 2 questions, but you wouldn't believe the kind of day I've been having. But it's been a fun day, but always a crazy day when you're in the media. All right, so when we get back, we're going to continue to talk to Joe Danis. You're listening to the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm with Peter Elvidge. And Peter, a lot of fun we're having, and we're with Joe Danis, CEO of Dawn Sign Press. It's an American Sign Language publisher. And Joe, one thing when I represented a child that was hearing impaired, that was able to communicate using signs, but also speech, there was a huge debate going on about two different schools that both did this, but one that was more towards American Sign Language, while the other one that wanted to help that student be able to speak and communicate with words, that meaning auditorily. How are we going to be able to just do this so there's not such a fight outside of the hearing impaired community? What do you recommend? Because that is really a big thing when school districts are trying not to allow that communication to happen, to try to take them in another direction where a lot of times it becomes a struggle.
By the way, we don't use the word hearing impaired.
Okay.
That's an old terminology. We just say deaf.
Deaf,
and
okay.
hard
okay.
of hearing.
Okay, hard of hearing, okay.
But deaf can mean different things and different degrees of hearing loss. When you're talking about learning sign language and speech, the problem that I think is that we spend a lot of time learning speech and we lose a lot of time in education. So I may speak well, but I don't have a good education. It should be all inclusive, I believe. If the child is able to learn to speak, that's fine. Take them to a speech class, maybe 1 hour every day, but not spend all day every day. They can learn, math, science, and all of the different subjects, not just speech. I took speech lessons, and then my writing in English wasn't that good. I could speak well, but then when I went to that university in Washington, D.C., I got a good education, and my English improved so much, and I was able to understand, and I understood the difference between English and good education. It's not about speech. It's not about speaking. It's about language itself. Learn the language, and you will speak better.
Awesome. Well, I apologize. Sorry, I'm just going to say, Joe, I apologize with using that terminology. I was hearing still that terminology when I was in IEP meetings last year. So, again, my apologies.
That's nothing to be sorry about. It's just something I'm trying to raise your awareness.
Awesome. So let's talk about birth and teaching sign language. I love the fact when even people that are not deaf, that we teach sign language to kids, especially before they are saying words. You think that's a very, very important thing for everyone to learn sign language. Am I correct?
Yes. For even hearing babies, all hearing babies should learn sign language. Their mental development will increase their IQ.
Yes.
Before they're pre-verbal. The parents, you have the basic baby board books. For the parents, they can show the babies, they're frustrated, they can sign, oh, I want milk, or I'm tired, or I have to go to the bathroom. And it's less frustrating for the parents if they know what the baby wants.
Yes.
And also, fun. It's another language
It is.
for them to learn.
It definitely is. Peter, questions because again, this is a very interesting conversation when you're looking at deaf versus, again, another disability that blindly and visually impaired, where I've learned a lot about that and both things. Peter, a question for Joe.
Yeah, because I was curious, one of the reasons why I have been curious about sign language is not only for the sake of actually having peers and coworkers and also friends of mine who are unable to hear, my words, because obviously there's a barrier between my visual impairment and then not being able to hear me verbally speaking. I've always found looking at it is not only being interesting to learning a new language, but also learning about other people. I mean, I think that if you can learn a language, no matter if you're teaching young or if you're learning as an older person or an adult, I think it gives you the opportunity to not only learn about a different language, but it also gives you the opportunity to learn about a particular person. So my question would be, is like, for teaching different people, I guess, what is the hardest barrier, no matter what, whether, I'm guessing it's projective depending on age, but what's the hardest kind of barrier to cross when teaching somebody sign language?
Being visual. Many hearing people are really not visual. They're not looking at people's eyes. They don't have contact. They'll look in space, when they talk, but you really need eye contact with the person to be able to read their visual clues.
Mm-hmm.
That's key.
Got it.
Very interesting. Strategies that you recommend teaching sign language. For the person who is teaching someone sign language, what strategies would you offer our listeners today and viewers today?
Try to think in a picture language. Don't think in a word language. Mm-hmm. Don't use word association. Don't use English words and associate it with a sign. Think of it as painting a picture in a visual image.
That's great, and for sure in so many ways. And teaching adults that are not deaf sign language. How long do you expect somebody like myself that maybe knows 2 or 3 signs to be able to learn sign language? At least to communicate with somebody. How long is that process to learn that language?
In a minute. In a minute? You can learn a few signs in a minute. But basically, you really need to socialize and use the language, or you will lose it. It's just like any other foreign language. You need to socialize, go out into the community, meet other deaf people, mm-hmm. or like Spanish, you meet other Spanish people. You go to a Spanish country, it's the same situation. You need to socialize with deaf people, and you'll pick up the language a lot faster. So, of course, you need to take a sign language course. It's difficult to learn on your own because it is a visual language. You take a course, you socialize, and be part. Go to deaf community events. Total immersion is the absolute best way, and it's just like learning any other foreign language.
Tremendous.
Now, I had a curious question for Braille. Obviously, there's more than one system of Braille for not only English, but for Spanish users, as well as all sorts of different languages that is continuously being developed. For sign language, like let's say if you're speaking to someone who doesn't speak English, who may speak Spanish, is there a different sign language format, or is it kind of a lot of it's universal, and then there's some minor differences depending on the language or the person you're speaking to?
Yes, every country does have their own sign language, and it is different from American Sign Language. They have Brazilian Sign Language, Mexican Sign Language, Russian Sign Language,
Wow.
French Sign Language. American Sign Language originated from France because of Laurent Clerc and Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet. They developed the system, came to America, and it evolved into what ASL is today. There are some similarities to French Sign Language. And with America and Brazil, where they brought the languages, it was originally in France, but ASL is now its own language.
Oh,
And in some countries like Africa, they can't afford the funds to do the research for linguistics of the languages. So they dropped it and they adopted American Sign Language.
Okay.
Like in Uganda, they use ASL because they already have a system for linguistics, grammar, and the rules. American Sign Language is colonizing some of the poorer countries. Like England is very popular all over the world. It's the same with American Sign Language. But I think it's sad. We respect and preserve different foreign languages.
Definitely a very, very interesting to educate us on ASL and those benefits. Best place again, Joe, we can find information on you. We definitely need to check you out all over the place, especially when the episode airs in July on Discovery's Innovations. But where's the best place we can find information on you, Joe? Where can we go?
Go to www.dawnsign.com.
Awesome. Are you guys on social media and stuff as well, Dawn Sign?
Yes. Yes, we are. We have Facebook at Dawn Sign as well.
Excellent. Well, you're doing tremendous work, Joe, and you're a tremendous story. Not just the story of ASL, but the fact that somebody that is deaf has been able to create this movement to help people learn ASL, and how you're teaching it compared to other publishers out there. What a great educator you are, and you're doing tremendous things. And it was an absolute honor to chat with you, and you're truly amazing in what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to spread the awareness of beautiful American Sign Language. I wish there were more people like you out there.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to do. We want to talk about all these different things because we are a diverse country, a diverse world, and we need to help others in so many ways. And it's my passion to help others and educate people in all areas of life, from birth to adulthood, and that's my mission, and I try to do it every day. So good talking to you, Joe, and thanks for calling.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye-bye. All right, everyone, that was the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at TotalTutor, neilhaley.com. We'll see you next week, and I continue the marathon of interviews continue all the way up through the summer, BPTV and all over the world, neilhaley.com and all those places. Take care. Thanks again. Bye-bye.